I think the biggest thing is work hard, don't expect things to happen overnight, and keep trying because I really was last in every class, like, my whole life, even at the 4-H fair, forever.
Really?
And yes, and I remember the first time I did not get last, and I still have the ribbon, I was 5th out of 6, and I wrote on the back of my 5th place ribbon, "out of 6," with, like, 100 exclamation marks because I saved all my
Oh,
last place ribbons too, yeah. And I remember one time I was trying out a horse, I was probably 12, and the horse trainer, I heard him tell my mom, "If she can't ride this horse, you really need to find her a new hobby. She's never gonna be able to ride anything." And I was
wow.
devastated because this is all I've ever wanted to do, you know? And
Yeah.
it just really doesn't matter what you think or how you feel if you want it, I think. If I can do it, anybody can do it, but you just have to work hard and love what you're doing and be able to take the bad days with the good days and just keep making a new plan until it's going in the direction you want.
Welcome to Elevate Your Ride, the podcast dedicated to elevating your performance in the saddle. I'm Ellie, your personal trainer.
And I'm Lauren, your mindset coach. Today, we're joined by someone whose name is synonymous with excellence in the AQHA world, Carly Parks of Parks Show Horses. Carly is an incredibly decorated exhibitor and trainer known for her precision, her feel, and the powerhouse program she and her husband have built. Carly's joining us fresh off an unbelievable world show where she was crowned AQHA World Champion in Junior Trail, and her clients brought home a collection of titles across nearly every event from trail to hunt seat equitation. We've been looking forward to this conversation and can't wait to dive in. Carly's program continues to turn out champions year after year, and today we get to go behind the scenes and learn what it really takes to train, develop, and become an AQHA world champion. Carly, looking back on this year's AQHA World Show, what does it feel like to have had it all come together at the right time, not only for you, but for your customers?
It feels a little bit surreal. We were really excited about, like, the group we had going in and knew we had a chance to do really well in a lot of different events, but for it to all come together almost exactly how we wanted is just takes a little bit of just luck and the right timing too, and I'm just incredibly grateful that everything went as well as it did. So, still so excited.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys were on fire.
Thank you.
I would love to dive into how you prepare all year long for the world show. So I would imagine that trying to get your riders and your horses to peak at this time of year is challenging. And like, how far in advance do you usually set the goal of the world show? Like, how long do you spend working towards it? What are you doing in the months and the weeks before the world show? Like, what does the prep look like for you guys in your barn?
Well, World Show is definitely something to me, it is definitely the, pinnacle of the year's work, and it's something we work towards all year. And I guess to me, in my mind, like, for instance, now coming off of World Show, give everybody a little break, then start teaching new things to new horses, but also have in the back of my mind the horses that are already pretty trained, like, what my goals are for them that year as far as what they're already really solid in and their riders are really solid in, kind of knowing that and finding instead their weaknesses so that we're not over practicing the horses all the time. Like if they're already really good at something, just leave it alone for a while and let them stay fresh in that and just work on spots that need improvement. So this is kind of the time of the year for that. And then as the show season builds on, I think something that's helped me a lot this year is I'm really familiar with a lot of my clients and horses. A lot live close, or if they didn't, like for example, Sienna, she's from far away, but I've had her as a youth kid. They've spent a lot of time here with me. We know each other well. They know the program really well. I don't have to, babysit every little thing they do because they know their horse so well. So we can start really focusing on bringing up the level of difficulty and pushing things a little bit harder to really try to peak and not doing that all year to where the horses are sick of it or have had enough or are getting sore. This year, it was a lot really that prep really came in before Congress because that's when we were home. We had some time after NSVA World before Congress. That was when we really tried to turn things up and put in that final hard work, maybe put the poles a little harder, start making the horses turn a little faster again, taking the rider's stirrups away in the egg. Because then between Congress and World Show, you didn't have a lot of time to be honest, my World Show horses did not get ridden at home between the Congress and the World Show. I think we got home on a Sunday. Oh, I guess the horses got home Saturday night. I got home Sunday after loading everything up, and we left Wednesday for the World Show.
Wow.
Wow.
So basically, what the prep that got us into Congress was, our at-home prep was done for the World Show at that point.
Is that stressful as a horse trainer to not really have time to, like, if there was something that happened at the Congress that you didn't love, that you wanted to fix, but you don't have time to fix before the World Show, how stressful is that for you?
It wasn't as bad as I thought because once you do get to the World Show, you have, for me, a way smaller number and a lot of time to just prep the riders and the horses, one-on-one and take that time with them. So usually when we would get to the Congress, it's go, go, go right away, actually. But when we got to the World Show, we did have a little time there to, the first day we just kind of like the horses back up. So then we could really kind of think back on the Congress. I didn't look at the World Show patterns till I was at the World Show because there was nothing I could do. Look at those, kind of regroup and just make a new plan. It was more stressful from a mom standpoint because I felt like even though I lived close to the Congress and I got to see my kids often, I didn't get to spend quality time with them during the Congress. And then I got 2 days at home with them and, I had to leave. So that part was really stressful.
Do your
Yeah.
kids go with you to the shows?
They are in school now and sports, so no. But Congress, we did let them skip a couple days, and they came back and forth a ton because we're only an hour away. But I didn't get to see them at all during the World Show.
And how
Wow.
long were you at
Or
the
Wa-
World Show?
or Wade. Wade stayed home to be with them, and for sports in school.
That's a
Wow.
lot.
That was hard, yeah, and it was almost 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was hard. I think a little bit on everybody for sure, and it's also a big sacrifice Wade has made to really step back to make sure our kids, get the normal life that they want and deserve because they're not really into the horses and they are really good athletes. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't be fair to just drag them to every horse show.
Yeah, how do you navigate that as a parent of your passion isn't quite their passion? I mean, maybe one day they'll fall in love with the horses, but right now,
I
if they're
know.
excited about other things.
Yeah. Well, when I'm home, it's easy because
Yeah.
I really like the barn. I treat like business. Like I work 8 to 5 every day, like a normal job. Like lessons are done by 5, everything too. So it keeps it from 5 on. I can just be mom and do sports. I coach soccer, make
Oh,
time for stuff like
that's so
that.
cool.
Yeah. And it also, I think, helps like on a training aspect because I'm there 8 to 5. I start on time every day, end on time every day, and I, work the whole time and I have to be efficient because I don't want to. Sometimes try to be efficient to the point where I'm a little almost antisocial because it's just go, go, go. But I like that and everything gets done. And it's a pretty like fine-tuned machine at the barn. We've got a pretty good group. The horses keep coming to me all day, and in the summer, I do work 6 to 5 instead because I don't have to get the boys ready for school, and that gives me more time to be off of a horse because a lot of people are here for lessons, and I like to be totally into my lesson, but also feel like I'm having enough time to spend the time I need on my young horses. So then I go 6 to 5 in the summer.
I really like that idea and that program because a lot of trainers, it's really easy to get sucked into being at the barn for 14, 16 hours a day because there's always something that can be done. So,
Right.
do you think it was having the kids that made you realize, like, hey, I should treat this like a real job as well, where there are set hours and we can still get done what we need to if we're efficient about it all?
Yeah, for sure. And I think a little bit of it is also changing the mentality about because if I didn't have kids, I might be at the barn 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
Even at my day off, if the kids are here, I'm like, I want to go ride my favorite horses on my day off. That's my treat. I
Yeah.
just I love riding and I love being in the barn. But I think sometimes people think like, "Oh, you set your own hours. Oh, you can do this, you can do that." And I will even say like, "Oh, I can't do that. I would be late for work." Like, yes, it is my job, but I don't wanna be late for work. I wanna start at 8. I wanna work till 5 and just even making sure the people around you like realize like, yes, I have an 8 to 5 job. So,
Mhm.
just to kind of stay on task. But for sure, without kids, I could linger a lot later at the barn, a lot of the time, or even start later some days. And they've really made it to where also we have a nanny that's here those hours. So that's another reason, it's important to be done at 5 so the nanny can leave. But yeah, that definitely helps keep me on task. But I think it's something I wish I had always done because it really is a better quality of life, and I think it's a better way to have people respect your time and kinda keep hustling, while you are working.
Well, I bet setting those boundaries, I bet in some way it makes you a better horse trainer. It makes it so that you don't get run ragged quite as often. You are fresher. You get to go home and rest. Like you get to have time dedicated away from the barn. And that
Exactly, yeah.
is really important for your longevity as a horse trainer, too.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Not coming in from lessons and having dinner at 9 and feeling dead the next morning when someone's coming. It keeps you fresh because you can do other things also.
Yeah, yeah. So I would love to get into body positioning. So,
Okay.
how do you help prep your amateurs in like the weeks and the months, like when you're prepping for the world show? What are the drills that you're having your amateurs do? What points do you focus on for your riders? Like, what do because every trainer has the things that they nitpick about. So, what are the things that you care most about in the horsemanship, the the showmanship, the equitation type classes for your amateurs and your youth?
I think my number one thing that I'm always trying to harp on, teach, explain, and perfect with them is feel. So, connection and feel. Knowing their horse, knowing whether it be the feel of the tune and showmanship or in the eck, that connection, even in the horsemanship, being able to know when your horse needs to be more in front of your leg, when your horse is too far in front of your leg, when your horse is on the bridle versus behind the bridle versus not going through the bridle. Trying to find that connection, which really can only be done with the riders having a lot of saddle time. But I think that is something that we're constantly working on and towards finding that soft feel that where the horse is happy with their rider and the rider is happy with their horse and everything looks more smooth and in unison. Then from there, building on seat and hand and everything. But then from there, building on being still and confident, obviously, a strong lower leg, a strong heel, strong core, but everything not trying to pose on your horse first, finding your horse, moving with your horse, then quieting and, perfecting your position.
So I totally agree. And I find that when riders are taught how to position first and feel second, that they totally end up being stiff on top of their horse, especially if they lack strength or they don't have fantastic posture and they're trying to fight their body when they're riding. So I
Right.
love that you try to help teach your riders their feel first and then work on the positioning later. some trainers just focus on their positioning at the show. Do you have them focus on positioning at home too? Like how much are you focusing on their positioning before the show and when you're at the show?
I guess it depends on the writer for sure, because some writers just have such a naturally correct position. And some writers, have a lot to work on in their position and their presentation. So it definitely depends on the person. But I would never, right before a big show, have a writer only work on their horse and their feel without also something I harp on is like we're gonna practice like we're showing too. So yes, we're gonna work on parts and elements and feel, but then at some point in the ride, especially before a big show, we're gonna put stuff together and practice like we are showing. And then I try to really enforce when they go in the pen, like you practice like you are showing. So you don't need to go in there and tighten anything, change anything, arch your back more, try harder. You need to now show just like you practiced and not change from that. We're not gonna go in and all of a sudden get tight because then our horse is gonna wonder where that what changed or they're gonna change. So I do like to, at some point in the ride, at some point in the day, take time to practice like we're showing, where we are looking up, we are tight in our body, we're not schooling, and finding how to, keeping those aids subtle and that way when you go in the pen, you're not having to like all of a sudden put your heel down a little more, or all of a sudden tighten your elbows because that's gonna change everything to your horse.
Mhm. Yeah, and I can imagine that just lowers the rider's anxiety level because they've already been doing it the whole time, so it's more second nature when they are able to step out there and be like, "Okay, I already know how to do this. I know that when I'm in this position, my horse is still gonna respond, so now I can just get to work."
Right, just go do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so how do you work with clients that maybe don't live close by? I know that you said right now you have a pretty good program where everybody is kind of local, but like Sienna, she had a phenomenal show and she looked so connected and so strong. How do you coach her when she maybe isn't able to come and ride quite as much? How do you make sure that she has that feel with her horse and is still strong in the saddle when it comes to like those patterns where you have to do no irons for the level 3 EC finals?
Right. Yeah,
Or, like,
well, and
do
I
you
do
give your
have.
writers homework to do, like, at home when they can't come see their horse?
If they can, but, like, Sienna, obviously, she's always lived far away, and Lisa Wilkes, she lives in Georgia, but I think something that works in my favor big time with both of those riders are so natural on a horse. I mean,
Mhm.
Lisa, she could probably not ride for a month, and she just sits on a horse, and to me, I can pick her out across the pen, and same with they just have a very natural feel and presence. Sienna is riding on a college team, so she's in the saddle a lot, and Lisa is just constantly with horses, doing stuff at her farm, but I don't necessarily give them homework, but I will say when the people from far away come, there are days when they might be on a horse, maybe not theirs, 8 hours the entire day.
Yeah.
So we really make up for it, and they always find times to come for a week, and that week, where somebody that comes from Columbus might do an hour and a half a day, twice a week or 3 times a week. When those riders come from far away, they'll stay for an extended period of time and really put in the work to stay, caught up.
Yeah, that
They're
makes
trying to increase their saddle time as much as possible, which I love how you do that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, when they're here from out of town, they might get to leave to go get lunch, but usually probably not.
I bet they're
Fair
pretty
amount.
sore by the end of that week.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. Are you loving our show and looking for a way to show your support? Check out our line of Elevate Your Ride merchandise. From stylish t shirts to cozy hoodies to journals and hats, we have everything you need to represent your favorite podcast. Ready to gear up? Click on the Buy Our Merchandise Here link in the podcast notes, or head on over to our website, elevateyourride.co, and click on the Store tab. Thank you for your support. Make sure to like, follow, and share our platform with your friends.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to Elevate Your Ride. We're so excited to continue helping you elevate your performance in the saddle. To keep bringing you quality content and information, we're asking you to help us. Tell your friends about us on our podcast, like and share a meaningful quote you saw on our social media, write us a review on Spotify or Facebook. You can also join our Facebook group and ask all your health and fitness questions, or maybe post a success story to motivate another amateur. Your engagement really helps us support and encourage the equestrian community. We're also inviting sponsors and supporters to help us build our show. As a sponsor, starting at just $150, you'll receive marketing on our podcast, website, and growing social media platforms for your business. It's the perfect way to connect with the equestrian community and showcase your brand to our dedicated listeners. And for our supporters, your $50 contribution gets you a shout out on our social media and website. Every bit of support really helps fuel the show and helps us inspire and motivate equestrians. So, if you're interested in learning more about that, you can scroll down to the show notes of this episode and look for the Become a Supporter or Become a Sponsor links and click on those to get some more information. Thank you for listening. We can't wait to continue expanding our platform and helping you elevate your ride.
What are the things that you find yourself saying over and over again to your riders, like for their position specifically? One thing that I think that is really cool about your program is you and your amateurs do a really nice job of keeping a really strong body position. And that's something that I know that I admire and a lot of other amateurs admire. So, what are the things that you're focusing on in your body when you're riding to keep that strong position? And what are the things that you're usually telling your amateurs?
So yeah, we'll say showmanship. Something I feel like I'm always saying is for them to like keep their shoulders back behind their hips, stand up tall, keep their eyes up, not stand in front of their horse. Those seem to be major ones, like in the back. Everybody tends to want to stand too close to their horse. Keeping that bubble, a lot of it is just posture and just being quick. I think a lot of the showmanship I harp on speed of their footfalls, not looking dull, quicker steps and posture. In the eck, I feel like I'm always trying to get obviously more heel and a tighter lower leg and fighting that proper connection where your reins are short enough that you're connected to your horse's mouth, but you're not hanging on your horse's mouth, that your horse is staying in front of your leg and you're pushing them to the bridle with your leg. A lot of that. And then same with the horsemanship, like a strong core, turning, through your seat and your shoulders, not twisting. Again, finding like where your leg is riding to the horse's mouth and finding that the rein length, I think, is the biggest thing to me in the eck and the horsemanship that is always not a struggle, but something just finding that proper amount of connection with your horse's face and finding it through your feet. In the trail, a lot of time making it look easy. That's something we talk about a lot in lessons is first we learn the technicalities of finding the correct foot, finding where your horse leaves best from, knowing your horse well enough to know the little things. Like for me, this probably sounds, it's kind of dorky, but like when I'm showing 9 horses in a day at a show, I might have a horse that when it turns in the box, I need to stop closer to the front of the box because it wants to step right out, where I have other horses that I need to leave a little space because they like a baby step. So I actually have notes in my phone on little things like that, that each individual horse like prefers or is more successful, just so I don't do something dumb that could have been easily avoided. And I want my riders to know their horses well enough to do the same thing. So first knowing that, but then making it look effortless.
When did you start writing the notes in your phone? Is that something that you've always done, or is that something more
No,
recent?
I started it a couple years ago because I would get so frustrated at myself when I would stupid things like an example. when I do a gait, I always stop with my outside foot back, and then I take 3 steps before I go over the pole with my inside foot. And maybe, like, for example, Evie, the me and red mare that has done so well in trail this year, it would not matter if you were doing a left-hand gait. If you have her left leg back, you could have it back 4 feet behind her right foot. She is going to step with her right foot first.
Oh, how
It is
She's
the
funny.
that
strangest
dominant on
thing.
that side.
Yes, and I
That's
know
so
her well
funny.
enough now, I don't have to remind myself. So in Canada too, so we go, and 1, 2, 3 over, because we know we're not gonna count that first step, right? So
Yeah.
just little things like that that I could easily beat myself by being rushed from one horse to another when I have 4 horses in a class, or like this year, I had 3 in the junior trail finals. A rule I always have for myself is to, like, let my adrenaline go down. So even if I only have 4 horses in between and I wanna be in a hurry, I have to stand there until my heart isn't beating fast before I get on the horse, because
Mm.
it just works better. And maybe take that second to, like, read, like, "Okay, this is Julia, like, ride further past your last trot, or do this, do that." Just kind of a mental, like, regroup of little things to remember what horse you're riding and what things will help that horse the best.
Yeah, and so what do you do in that period when you're trying to get your heart rate down and just recollect your thoughts? Is it reading your notes, or do you have some other routine that you do to get yourself focused and ready for your next one?
Usually, it's just, like, just relaxing for a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe look at those, but mostly just, like, letting my heartbeat slow down just by, like, just time, I guess, you know what I mean? Even if it's, like, 3 minutes, or if I wanna watch, I don't know, a lot of times, if I'm, like, feeling really stressed, I'll put on music when I get on my first horse and walk around for a second, and, just something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Can you walk us through the World Show Junior Trail Finals? You said you had 3 in there, and you did end up winning, so congratulations again.
thank you.
But what was that like, and which horse in your order of 3 was the one that you ended up winning on?
I actually won on draw 1.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So can you walk us
So
through how you handled that?
so it was at 8 AM, and it's bright and early, so Macy and I came out really early that day, and I rode each of them once, and I did it in reverse order so that the last horse I would have been on would be my first horse. That way, it was like that horse was on my mind when I stepped onto her. So I rode the one I'd show last in the middle, then her. And then we got them all ready, and, obviously let them eat their breakfast, and got had coffee and whatever, got all ready, and then, I had to have them all, like, saddled and totally ready, so that took a while, and then, I just went after that and warmed up my first horse and showed, and then I had made sure my second horse would be checked in and ready. And obviously, I was pretty happy with my first pattern, so I wanted
Can
to.
you dive deep into the pattern? Like, what are you telling yourself as you were walking up to the gate? Do you count in your head as you're going over the poles? Like, what does walking
Oh,
through a
yeah,
trail in Carly Park's head look like?
probably scary. I count literally everything I do, to the point where, like, if I'm practicing or just going over trail poles at home and someone's talking to me, I'll be like, "Hold on," 'cause I can't talk over a pole. So, yes, I definitely, obviously walked the course that morning. Had my plan, tried to think of what my plan would be for different horses as well as I walked it. Then, as I'm warming up that horse, tried to focus only on my plan for that horse. Obviously, I had made sure, like, the other ones were ready, had their bridles, had the person that was bringing them up at a certain time, checked and double checked all that, because the worst thing that could have happened is a horse not be up there and ready to go, or it could have gone really hectic. So I had all that under control. Then, um, did my warm up on that mare, the one I went on. I knew I didn't wanna do a lot of pulls before I went in. I just wanted to make sure she was, like, in my feet, calm, listening. I walked down and pretty much got sent right in the gate. And then, yeah, obstacle by obstacle, I count and think, so that pattern started with a trot that I knew it was that diagonal trot, so I knew which foot I had to lead with. So, started thinking that and then where I was gonna lope off, counting those lopes. I pretty much do count everything I do. I pretty much have a plan for how I wanna enter it, the exact path, obviously the exact amount of steps for everything, including, like, sometimes too long of a path where I shouldn't probably still be counting, but I do.
When you say counting, do you say 1, 2, 1, 2, or are you counting down from like 10, 9, 8, or how does counting look to you?
Okay, for a lope, I would count, like, 1, 2, 1, 2 as I'm just loping to a pole,
Mhm.
but this really makes no sense. So, I only like to leave from a 2, so sometimes I say 1, 1, 2.
Oh, it's okay.
But I usually, see it. I can usually see my spot like 4 strides out, and that's when I might restart my count to 1, 2, 1,
Okay.
2.
Makes sense.
But that's not something I would recommend because it makes no sense at all. It's just it's just what happens. And then I would count like over the post, whatever the stride is. If it's 1, 3, 4, I would count 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2,
Right.
3, 1 on that kind of wheel.
Yep.
If it's like a 6 or something, then I would usually count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so that I know I'm in the middle on my first 3. So then
Okay,
I know
that
if I'm
makes
moving
sense.
up or back. Or if it's a 4 that how some 4s are like every stride you bend the same amount, and some 4s
Yes.
are a pole's missing.
Yeah,
So
so it's
if
like
it's a
straight and curve.
4, yeah, so I would count those instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4. I would count those 1, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 1, depending on where the pole's missing.
That makes sense.
In a regular 4, I would count 1, 2, 3, 4, because every step is the same amount of turn.
Mhm.
I would count my 3 steps before my gate. I would be counting my back steps because I like to back 5 or 6 steps, depending on which foot they start with, and then 1, 2, 3 over. And then trots, I count like a serpentine, I would count like 5, 5, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever. So, yeah, a lot of counting. I really like trot serpentines. I like being able to, especially when they're like different, I like being able to like dissect them and like find like the most aggressive path while still finding, the inside foot and being able to, kind of like map it out on my own plan. And it might be different than other people's, like getting to like kind of, like, dissect it, I guess, how I wanna ride it and making it as fancy and quick as I can.
Yeah, I feel like watching you over the serpentines, you are very crafty, and that to me, like, draws me in to wanna watch the rest of your pattern, so I love how you are able to do that. What do you think it takes training-wise to be able to get your horses to trust you to just to go wherever you point it and make it happen? What do you do at home that you think allows you to kinda set yourself apart there?
I feel like, in general, my horses are pretty, like, happy and trusting with me. I do a lot of steering out of my seat, so they're not ever really pushing against my foot or against me, and I try to kind of be, like, I know it sounds kinda corny, but, like, one with them in my body,
Yeah.
so I can turn
Mhm.
both ends with them out of my seat, and just constantly finding good spots for them, I think makes them trust me more, that if they go where I tell them, they're probably not gonna crash.
Mhm.
So they and I find that with their amateurs too. They'll get to where they really listen to them because those good amateur riders will keep them out of trouble when they listen. Like they're not going to hit the poles if they go where their rider tells them to put their feet. And I think that just makes the horses more like confident. And yes, a lot of those really good horses do know they could probably find a lot of spots on their own. And I think sometimes setting stuff that's impossible to do perfect because it makes the horses think at home, and then when you get in a bind, like Bella and I always joke, we're sometimes 'cause, Bob, the What a Moonlight Ride horse is so smart, and I'm like, "Worst case, let Bob/Jesus take the wheel." Like, just show him, and he'll probably get us through it, So, like, letting the horses do enough, A, listening to you, but also being confident enough that if you kind of are like, "Oh, crap," or whatever, they're confident where their feet are, and that they can help you a little bit, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I feel like most of the all-around horses in your barn right now, you have developed, correct?
So a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah, and so what do you think, like, your program kinda thrives on to be able to create these really neat all-around horses? And what events do you kinda start with first and then add more into?
So it depends whether they're more of a Western or an English-based horse, but, like, a horse, like, Up in the Ante, he's a recent, newer all-around horse that's doing really well. He was a hunt seat horse, so as a 3-year-old, we just got him really comfortable in the hunt seat and a lot of body control and all that, and then started adding on from there, but I think it's really important that they, whether it be pleasure or hunter under saddle, learn self-carriage because everything just is so much easier after that. I kind of joke that, but it's not really a joke, but that I feel like people have an easier time riding after me because I still do kind of ride like an amateur. I set like an amateur when I'm doing eck. You know, envision myself showing amateur because I still wish I could show eck or, you know what I mean?
Oh.
I try to ride those horses like the same way the clients would and not complicate things, I guess. So teaching them a lot of self-carriage where if I'm cantering around, I should be able to, whether I'm going slow or fast or medium, I should be able to kinda sit there and canter around, right? Like, I
Mhm.
should not have to carry the horse. So, a lot of that, like, from the beginning foundation, and then really building off of that once they have those fundamentals of, like, how to carry their head and neck, how to keep their back up. From there, I'll usually start, whether it be the trail or the horsemanship or the eck, and then I kinda like teaching those all at the same time, and then as soon as they're mature enough, adding in the lead change, you know, sooner the better, but I think it's nice, like, right now I'm starting a new all-around horse, and I might go over 20 trail poles and then go canter up the diagonal and start setting up and change the lead, and then work on my turnaround, go back, like, keeping it kind of fresh in their mind and letting them learn a little bit of everything at once, and then it's, like, sometimes frustrating, but then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my gosh." They suddenly kind of know how to do everything, and then it starts coming together.
So you try not to drill your horses on one thing over and over and over again. Try to mix it
Yeah.
up, keep it fresh, keep them light on their feet, thinking on their feet, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like, a couple of the horses that I have starting right now, I might start with the showmanship. I have a couple that are literally learning everything for the all-around right now, and I might do 15 minutes of showmanship a day when I'm starting them, or 30. But, yeah, when I'm riding them, 'em, I'll work a little on the lead change, a little on the trail, a little on the turnaround, and just kinda keep doing that, and sometimes, like, you'll feel like, "Am I getting somewhere or am I not?" And then all of a sudden, you realize you really are, and before you know it, you have your one event horse turned into 5. And I think they kinda like it that way because they don't get as sick of doing one thing, yeah.
Yeah, super important for an all-around horse. Yeah, and they need to be
Yeah,
able to transition from the horsemanship to the trail to the eck, because who knows what classes you're going to have on the same day and how long there's going to be in between them. So I
exactly.
love that you try to teach your all-around horses that like, hey, I'm going to ask you to do this, and then I'm going to ask you to do that, and
Yeah, we're gonna
that
go
that's
fast,
really
then we're
cool.
gonna go slow, then yeah, just mixing it up a lot and trying not to get so set on, like, having to have one thing perfect before I'm done for the day. That's something that I've
Yeah,
gotten a lot better at as I've gotten older. Because I used to be a little, like, maybe get too crazy, like, I have to do it 4 times perfect to feel like I really got it, you know? And being able to get it and do a few things pretty well and better than the day before and get off and pet them and start again the next day.
Yeah.
what difference did you notice in your horses and in your riders and just your overall success when you started to make that shift instead of drilling everything until it was perfect?
I think my riders, especially some riders like Kylie John, who has ridden with me since, like, towards the beginning of me starting out in the paints. I think everyone, I mean, she obviously stuck with me, but she always, like, in Georgia once, there was literally a hurricane, so the show she had flown
Oh
into
my
got canceled,
god.
so we were at the house, and I was out there with her doing ag until she actually got bucked off because a tree fell, and
Oh my gosh.
I just used to be way crazier, and I think everybody is like just the clients have more fun, the horses have more fun, and there's not so much stress, you know? So, yeah, I've definitely calmed down a lot,
What do you
a lot.
think caused you to kind of make that shift of just calming down? Was it just getting older, or did something spark your change?
Maybe older, maybe I think I've gotten a little more I think a lot of, like, when I look back on the times that I would work 20 hours a day and never sleep at a horse show or something, I needed to at the time because a lot of things I kind of figured out on my own, and I
Mhm.
think it took me that long to get things right where n I've gotten a little bit more effective in teaching and in training to where I waste a lot less time doing the wrong thing first, maybe.
That makes
Um,
a lot of sense.
experience, yeah.
Yeah. And so since you did learn most of the things yourself, did you kind of do that through trial and error, or did you find someone that you just kind of watched and you're like, I want to do that, and then did trial and error? How did you teach yourself to get to the level that you're at now?
Well, I did I mean, I rode with a lot of people as a youth and an amateur, so I learned a lot. I mean, I had a lot of good coaches, so I learned a lot that way. But then training and kind of starting I was never really an assistant trainer, you know what I mean? So that was, I think, a lot of hard work, trial and error for sure, and mistakes. I mean, looking back, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, if I could have that horse now," or,
Mhm.
"Oh man, if I didn't buy that horse for that client, maybe I would still have that client." You know, trial and error, but I think what helped me get through it and come out on top is that whether it was the client or the horses, I think everyone always realized that my mistakes weren't for lack of try. So I was able to get, second chances at a different horse or somebody helping me. A lot of trainers that I never worked for or, paid for help have just helped me by from me asking them along the way at shows. And I've learned a ton from fellow horse trainers. A ton.
I love that you I think that that's really important in the industry is to be humble enough to ask for advice or help when you need it. So I love that you do that as a trainer because they don't like a lot of trainers are, would probably feel embarrassed to ask for help. So if an amateur
Yeah.
is listening to this and an amateur feels nervous about asking for a trainer for help, know that they ask each other for help too, right?
Oh
Like
yeah. I
trainers
ask
don't have all the answers all the time.
Yeah, I ask for help a lot from other trainers, and it's awesome how much other trainers have been willing to teach me.
Yeah, it's a really great community.
It really is, it's awesome.
Hi, everyone. It's your personal trainer, Ellie. If you're looking to become a stronger, more balanced, and flexible rider, I'm here to help. I offer virtual personal training sessions and customized workout plans that you can complete on your own. As a fellow competitor, I understand the physical demands riding requires, and my goal is to help you perform your best for your horse, whether you're preparing for a show or just want to improve your everyday rides. Visit lopindowntherailfitness.com or click on my website tab in the notes of this podcast episode to learn more. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
Are you looking for that extra competitive edge, struggling with show pen anxiety, or looking to set and achieve meaningful goals with your horse? Schedule a session with me, Lauren, your dedicated mindset coach. As an experienced competitor, I understand the mental demands required to excel at the highest level, and I'm here to support you in building a plan to help you stay accountable and reaching those goals. For more information, check out laurencarvelli.com or click on the website link in our show notes. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
Are there any pieces of advice that have stuck with you in particular over the years?
A lot of different people who I look up to have told me because I think as far as me being more successful in the show pen, a lot of it is coming from trying to calm my nerves and not over practice. Because I think that used to hurt me a lot, like just practicing. A lot of people told me, like, well, you need to stop leaving your winning ride in the warm up pen, you know? And I do think that was something I did a lot instead of building, trusting myself that I've done the hard work. I don't need to do it all again every time the night before I show. A lot of older trainers or just more confident, experienced trainers as I was coming along told me that, and it finally, at one point you're young, you're like, oh, they just don't want me to work too hard, for whatever reason. But when I really learned and understood what that meant, that helped a lot. Like, trust your preparation, sleep the night before instead of ride all night and your horses are over it and you're exhausted the day of. It's amazing what a difference that really did make.
Sounds like exactly what Lauren said in a podcast episode we did like a week or so ago is
Did
like
you
you
say
have
that
to
too,
take
Lauren?
Yeah.
pretty much just in the exact same way. Yeah. If you don't take care of yourself and if you don't trust in your preparation, then you drive yourself crazy. You're not going to
Yeah,
worry about
and then you just beat yourself and your horse is over
Yeah.
it and everything else, for
Yeah,
sure.
and
it's not
it
a good
So
cycle.
yeah, and it takes time, right, to be able to have that trust in yourself. It doesn't just happen magically. And like you were saying, you have to kind of go through it and you have to do the all-night rides. You have to go
right.
and try too hard to be able to, I feel like, get to the point where you can say, "Okay, I can just trust myself now." Because I don't, as much as I would love to say that you can step out there and say, "Well, I'm just gonna trust myself from the get-go, and I'm never gonna do that." I just don't think you can. I think you have to go through the process, learn the hard way, and then come out the other side. I don't know that there's a
I totally
shortcut
agree.
for that.
I agree, and I think you have to put in that time before you can't just say, "I'm gonna trust myself and it's gonna work." You have to put in enough time and effort to earn that, to be able to trust yourself, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Do you do much visualization when it comes to prepping for your horse shows, or do you encourage your riders to do any of that?
No, I probably should do more, but I mean, we talk a lot about I think more now. It's like we work really hard at home. We make sure the horses are happy and healthy and all that, and then make sure we have worked on every element. Then the lines, then the day before or whatever, as far as mentally preparing, just trying to keep everyone calm and happy. Like, I think it's so important, like, just to have, like, good vibes going before you show at the stalls. Like, I swear some days I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be a weird day," or "This is gonna be a," for no reason other than just, like, everyone just, like, positive energy. I think a lot of that, like, trying to laugh before we show or I don't know, like, uh, at World Show, some of my favorite memories are, like, sitting with the girls before they show, like, sitting on the couch in our tech room, like, laughing and talking about random stuff for no other reason than we all know we're nervous and we're just trying to, like, be funny and
Distract
random and think
yourselves.
about something else, yeah, and then we're tired too, so something really not that funny will happen that seems really funny, and just trying to, I don't know, just be, like, happy and together and you know what I mean? Just more that than over talking about the pattern because 'cause we've probably talked about it too much by that point anyway.
Well, and I think that that's a really underrated thing is this the feel at the barn, right? Like,
Oh my
and
gosh, it's
you've done a
insane.
great job of creating a barn that all gets along and that everybody is there to support each other. And I just think people need to really think about that when they are picking a barn because that is going to shape, like you were just saying, the feel for the day of when you
It
walk into
really
that,
does.
yeah, that barn aisle and then you look around and you say, "Okay, these are my people," and you're like who you surround yourself with, and I love that the positivity is a priority for you over there.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it makes it I mean, those are some of the best memories are just the funny, random, driving to Dutch
Yeah.
Bros at 5 a.m. with one of the girls before they show because we're like, "What?" Or I don't know, like, the random fun stuff because we all spend so much time together. We've all spent so much time together getting ready on the road and just trying to be like, I don't know, if that's when everyone is just in a good mood and knows we're all on the same team, but we really are there to have fun, or they are. I mean, technically I and they're doing my job, but honestly, I think it's the most fun thing in the world. But everybody that spends more to go to the World Show than a vacation, by far, at the end of the day, should also be having a really good time.
Absolutely. And as much as we all want to come home with a trophy, which your barn pretty much did, it's not guaranteed. But you know what you
No.
can have a little bit more of a say over is whether or not you had a good time.
Exactly. Yeah. And 9 out of 10 times when you're in a good mood, your horse is in a good mood, because very seldom times does a rider show up in a bad mood and they have a really good ride and their horse is happy that day. I'm sure you've noticed that. I mean, you can
Absolutely.
see someone walk in, you're like, "Oh, this is not gonna be a good lesson," like, just the general attitude. I think the horses feel it, there's a lot to just having good energy at the barn for sure. So I think by the time everything's prepped and ready to show, I think that is honestly probably more my focus than anything else. Just like being pumped up.
That makes sense. So what does kind of a show day playlist look like for you at the barn?
Oh gosh. I am not the music person, but the girls, the younger amateurs, they always have it's pretty much rap. Something going on.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Getting everybody pumped up. That's
Me,
awesome.
when I'm, like, just riding, getting ready to show, I like Morgan Wallen or Cross Canadian Ragweed on my Pandora station, just chill. But,
Yeah.
the barn might be a different vibe of something totally random.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah. So,
What's the biggest piece of advice that you have for somebody who's listening to this episode right now that wants to get better at showing, that has aspirations of showing and doing well at the world show level and the Congress level? What would you say to somebody listening to this?
I think anybody truly can do it. If you put enough hard work in, surround yourself by the right people. Like we said, don't be afraid to ask for help, but I think the biggest thing is work hard, don't expect things to happen overnight, and keep trying, because I really was last in every class like my whole life, even at the 4-H fair, forever.
Really?
And yes, and I remember the first time I did not get last, and I still have the ribbon. I was 5th out of 6, and I wrote on the back of my 5th place ribbon, "out of 6," with, like, 100 exclamation marks, because I saved all my
Oh,
last place ribbons too. Yeah. And I remember one time I was trying out a horse. I was probably 12, and the horse trainer, I heard him tell my mom, "If she can't ride this horse, you really need to find her a new hobby. She's never gonna be able to ride anything." And I was
wow.
devastated because this is all I've ever wanted to do. And
Yeah.
it just really doesn't matter what you think or how you feel. If you want it, I think if I can do it, anybody can do it, but you just have to work hard and love what you're doing and be able to take the bad days with the good days and just keep making a new plan until it's going in the direction you want.
I think that's great advice.
I had no idea. Nobody that sees what you're doing now would ever think that that was the background that you came from, because you, especially in the trail right now, like you're kind of the person to beat. So that is so impressive. How did you get from that little girl being told that she should probably find a new hobby because she was never going to do well in it, she was never going to become anything, to where you are today? How many how many tears? How many
Yeah, a
hours at
lot.
the lake? How did you do it? How'd you get here?
I don't know. And I didn't grow up on a farm or anything like that either. My parents weren't horse trainers. I just literally always wanted to be a horse trainer. I guess just slowly but surely, I maybe got really lucky with my I ended up getting a really good youth horse. And my first horse I bought out of the classified ads for $1,600. And then I kept selling my way up. I never spent another penny until I got to $10,000. And I did get a horse that was a great youth horse, Picasso by Q, that I showed in the youth and amateur paints. And I feel like I really do credit a lot of it to Boomer because he taught me so much and he really put me on the map where, like, on the same day at the World Show, I won the Working Hunter and the Western Riding with him. That's how incredible of a horse he was.
Wow.
That's
And
awesome. That's so
yeah,
cool.
he was awesome, and I really do think, like, sometimes it takes, like, that one horse that then people notice you or like, "Oh, maybe she can do it," and I
Mhm.
probably maybe never could have if it wasn't for him, um, but because of him, I got on a college writing team where I worked really hard, because of that, I started coaching at a college, which gave me a really good foundation to bring in some clients and use kids that were coming on to ride, and because of that, I keep working hard, I could grow my business, like, I think it just takes kind of a I don't know, something, you know what I mean? And, I think that horse gave me the confidence to go ride with more trainers, the trainers that helped me with him taught me a ton and worked hard with me, because we could be successful, so I think it just kinda takes something that can take you to the next level and then keep working hard and pushing and keep finding the next thing as it falls into place for you.
What a cool story. I love that.
So,
It's so easy for people to look at the top trainers and just say, well, it was easy for them. You know what I mean? They were they were naturally talented. eh, XYZ, whatever reason for why they're successful, and it's just excuses. If you work hard and if you want something hard enough, you can get there. And you're proof of that. So that was really
thank
cool.
you. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think I'm naturally talented at all, which makes me easier to ride
That's
behind because
amazing because
I'm not.
Yeah,
Wade
I
is
wouldn't have known
naturally
that.
talented. Even now, I'm
watching you
like,
ride, I would say that
I
wow,
make
that's
Wade get
incredible because
on
you look so
and
talented.
I make Wade get on and, like, if I'm gonna start one on a lead change, I'm like, "Can you just do it first so I can make sure if it's gonna buck or not?" And I'll watch him and then be like, "Okay, now I can do it." Because literally, I could get bucked off so easily, it's so embarrassing. 2 bucks, I'm probably gonna be on the ground. And
Oh
yeah,
my god.
it's terrible, it's so embarrassing. So,
So
definitely
you make the husband get on all the rank ones.
well, yeah, or even a good horse, I'll be like, "Will you just change the once so I can see if it's gonna buck or not?" Because otherwise, I'll go, like, 10 times of, like, asking a little more, or so he'll just get onto it, then I know what I'm dealing with, and then I can be like, "Okay, thank you, I'm good."
You're like, "Let's go. All
Oh
right."
my god.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
so
I would have never you didn't feel naturally talented because watching you ride, you do such a fantastic job of making it look so effortless and look so easy and like you're like, "Oh, I could just be, I don't even have to work that hard at what I'm doing." Like it just looked so easy for you. So
I think
that
now maybe because 'cause I've spent so many hours in the saddle, it's becoming
right.
it's become natural, but definitely no, like, no. I mean, you can any of the trainers that grew up working with me, and they'll still tell, they're like, "We can't believe you kept reading and Julie didn't," because my sister was, naturally talented, and I was kind of the awkward one for a long time.
That's how it was for my brother and I. He was extremely talented, like, he could get on any horse and they would just do what he wanted, and I, like,
Isn't
had to
that the
sit there and
worst?
work and work. Yeah, and I was like, "What the heck? I worked so hard,
And
and
then
you
he
just went and
probably
kicked my
quit,
butt."
like, wait yeah, and then they were probably like, "Yeah, it's not for me."
Yeah, exactly. I do think there is a little bit something to it maybe not coming the most natural because then it makes you want it even more. 'Cause you're like,
Yes,
"I am gonna figure this out."
yes, I'm going to be good at this.
Yeah.
So, that is funny. It's so
Yeah.
annoying when people are that talented and you're just like, "Oh my gosh, you don't even care and you're that good."
I know, 'cause for him, because he had ended up quitting, I go, "You could have been so good," and he's like, well, what
They
for?"
just
I'm
don't
like,
care because
And
they didn't
Lauren,
have to
I'm
work
gonna
for it.
guess that you are always good, Lauren.
"Oh, I don't know about that," but my brother was really good. He was really good, and I was trying to just keep up with him.
I don't know. You're pretty natural too.
Thanks. Yeah, it's It's fun. It is true though, like, just wanting it because I feel like I've learned so much just by trial and error and just not giving up and
Yeah,
being
not giving
just a
up.
little more stubborn than whatever it is, the issue at hand in front of you.
Yeah, and that is a great way to put it. And just being competitive. I mean, I think some people are just naturally competitive and you want to do well. And I think the combination of like loving what you do and loving horses and being
Yeah.
competitive. Like if you have those two things and you're willing to work hard, you can do it. You can do this sport, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, because you do have to love the horse and love
Yes.
just the
Yeah,
feel
not
and
just
the
the competition. Yeah, walking into the
Mhm.
barn and getting dirty and, all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and like you were talking about earlier, being one with the horse, like, that comes from loving them and caring about, who they are too, like, there is
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
to that.
Yeah, this world tour obviously, like, will be hard for me to ever beat. We had such a successful show, but I will say we've never been through so many treats either. Like, our farm vet bill just from treats going over and getting more because the horses were just like I said, it's the whole vibe. Like, the people are happy, the horses are happy, like, but they can come back and they're like, I mean, taking you out sometimes for treats to where people are it's a little obnoxious, but it's it's, funny, and I love, like, seeing the horses, like, I don't know, like, confident enough to drag you down to the streets or, like, just
Yeah.
getting to, like, have their little personality and their things they want too, like, it's fun to see.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Especially, like, when you first get a horse and it's shy, and then, somehow I will develop it. I have to, like, warn people if they try one of my horse because they have really bad ground manners, but it's totally for me because I like to see them, like I think it's funny, you know what I mean? Like, I wanna see them get a little, I don't know, like, obnoxious or spoiled or have their things they want and know how to ask for it. I think it's cute.
Yeah, they have an on and an off button. When you ask them to perform, they'll step up, but you'll let them, be horses too.
Yeah, I think that is so important to go along with all the other stuff we talked about is, like, let your horse, like, be a horse.
Yeah.
So, it's fun. We're all very lucky to get to do this, that's for sure. It's a
Oh my
interesting
gosh.
business, and it's just fun.
It is fun. It's the best hobby, and it's probably the best job ever.
Yeah, it is the
Yeah.
best job and definitely the best hobby.
Okay.
So,
Lauren, is there anything else that you kinda wanna get into?
I think this was fabulous. I really, really enjoyed it. Carly, is there anything that you would like to touch on before we head out?
no, I think it was fun. I really appreciate you guys having me. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was a lot